What's going on, everybody? Today I have a Stranger Things theory video about Murray Bauman and his fate in Stranger Things 5. For me, Murray has been a great character since his arrival in Season 2 of this show. I've really enjoyed all of his screen time, his humor, how helpful he is for the squad, and I just think there's a great possibility that he dies in Season 5. Now, before I break this down, if you like Stranger Things and you want more content as we ramp up toward the 5th and final season, like this video and most importantly, subscribe down below. But to get into why I think Murray is almost a lock to die in Season 5, first we have to look at his character arc and where I think it's headed. So like I mentioned earlier, Murray first appeared in Stranger Things in Season 2. At first, it was in Season 2, Episode 1, where he entered the police station and Chief Jim Hopper kind of shrugged off his conspiracy theories, even though they were kind of partially correct about, a Russian girl in Hawkins with powers. Now, 11 isn't Russian, but she does have powers, and there were some weird things going on. So Murray starts out as this kind of investigative journalist, but he does it in a very quiet place, kind of isolated from the rest of society. And though he is interested in, foreign affairs and, other matters that could be affecting the country and, its safety, he doesn't really like to get hands-on involved. He likes to do this work behind the scenes, which is why he kind of lives in, this desolate shack where he lives in Illinois. And the first time we really get to meet Murray's character is later in Season 2, when Jonathan and Nancy go to visit him to answer some questions and come up with a plan on how to present the information they have against Hawkins' lab to kind of, turn the people against them. And this is where Murray's comedic value is really highlighted and implanted into the show, in which it continues into Season 3, but also his usefulness. He is a Russian translator, which is, why they continue to go back to him in the following seasons. And then he kind of becomes a main character in the show and, starts uncovering some mysteries and getting more hands-on in Season 3 once he tags along with Joyce and Hopper. So just so we're clear on how this journey's going, we start with this man who really likes to do all the behind-the-scenes work. Like I said, he's interested in, kind of helping the greater good of society and taking down the big man, but he never wanted to do any of the frontline work, which he ends up getting to do in Seasons 3 and 4. I mean, in Season 3, he's literally carrying out the plan with Hopper and Joyce in the Russian base. I mean, he's down there in the tunnels. He's like on the front lines. He's risking his life. And to me, that's something that to start the show, where Murray's character started, he never would have wanted to get involved with something like that. And then once Season 4 rolls around, he's fully enveloped in this. And, I think it starts in Season 2 with him being scared to get involved and risk his life with these types of activities. In Season 3, he gets more accustomed to it. He starts taking risks. And in Season 4, he actually starts to enjoy, the rush he gets from trying to, go save Hopper or, fight these monsters, get involved with these government issues. He actually really enjoys it now, which I think is, a huge difference from, how his character began. One moment I think of specifically in Season 4 is as they're driving away from, the Russian prison, where they have Hopper in Volume 2 of Season 4, Episode 8, I believe. He's cheering as they leave.
Okay, I'm great! Woo! Oh, nothing like a little prison escape to get your day started. Am I right or am I right?
And, Murray originally would have been scared to death, but now he's enjoying, the thrill that he gets from, trying to pull off these schemes and, fighting for his friends, which I think is a really cool character development. So I'm breaking this all down to just show you how far he's come and why I think it makes him a character that it makes sense to kill off. Starting off as a man that wants nothing to do with the physicality of these conflicts, with actually being present in them, and often warns of the dangers and risks of associating himself with them. You see this at many points early on, as I've said, he wants to maintain his secrecy of his phone number, of where he lives. He's very paranoid when Alexei, the Russian, comes into his home. He doesn't want to be compromised in any way. He doesn't want to be on anyone's radar because he essentially doesn't trust the government and doesn't trust foreign nations and everything that he thinks is going on. And Murray has just completely turned and come out of his shell and put himself out there to be very helpful for the group in whatever way they've needed. And I think this character progression is going to go all the way into season 5 to the most extreme of him sacrificing his life for the greater good. So because of his character arc that I just outlined, I think it makes a lot of sense. And that's the first main reason I think Murray is unfortunately going to die in season 5. Once again, he's a great character. Once again, he's a great character. He's hilarious. I really, really like him. But I just think it makes sense, given where he started, what they could do wrapping up his storyline. And I think it would be a good mid to late season death. Not one of the final deaths of the show, because, you know, my opinion that I've had really since season 4 ended is that there's going to be around 3 main character deaths. And I don't think they're all going to happen in the final episode. So I think Murray would be one that makes sense, you know, say there's 8 episodes, to happen in episode 5, 6, or 7, kind of a mid-season sacrifice, because this is going to be the biggest fight or battle, whatever you want to call it, that we've ever seen in Stranger Things. It's the final showdown between Vecna and the crew. So I don't think they're all going to make it to the final episode. I think, you know, for realistic purposes, you know, to keep the stakes high, somebody's going to die throughout the season. And my prediction is that it's Murray. And if not, I think he'll die in the end anyway, because I just think it makes so much sense for where his character started, how involved he's gotten, how much more out there he's put himself. And I think he's going to come from not wanting to be involved at all to wanting to sacrifice himself and, you know, wanting to be fully involved in the battle. And it'll be a moment that brings his character full circle. And I think it'll be like a satisfying death. You know, one that makes sense, which I would like. The second main reason I think Murray will die is because I think there's a parallel that could be made between him and how Bob Newby died in season 2. Now, it's a little different because this is the final season. So, you know, Bob was the main sacrifice of season 2, whereas I don't think Murray would be the one and only and the main sacrifice of season 5. But I do think there's a couple similarities that I want to dive into real quick. First off, Bob was also a very likable character that found himself in an unfortunate situation in which he really had to step up to the plate because he was the only one with the knowledge of, you know, the technological system that opens and closes the door at the National Hawkins Laboratory. And in a similar way, in season 5, I think Murray could find himself in a situation where he's the only one that, say, knows Russian or that has certain knowledge on a topic because, you know, he is definitely one of the smartest people, at least in terms of, like, knowing a lot of information in this entire group. Not only that, but I think Murray and Bob have a very similar role in the show where, you know, they're not necessarily connected to any of these characters for a particular reason, you know. They don't have any family in this. They don't have any long-term friends. They're kind of just like an innocent bystander that has chosen to throw themselves into this out of the kindness of their heart and because they believe in the cause and they want to help. Now, of course, Bob was dating Joyce, but I mean, it was still a very fresh relationship. I think most guys in that situation would have probably ran away scared from that family, but he stuck to it, you know, and stayed true throughout. And Murray has done the same. He has really no reason to continue to help these people other than just being a great friend. You know, obviously he knows them now and they've called upon him and he keeps answering the bell. So I think that's another similarity between them that could come through in season 5 and, you know, would make sense, you know, connecting their deaths. And one final point, and I think this might be the most important, is that with my prediction that Murray dies in the middle to late season 5, I think that would make the most sense of any character because he doesn't have those deep connections that you'd have to tie up, which would be ideal for a mid-season death writing-wise. Just think about it. Say you kill off one of the kids like Mike or Dustin in mid-season 5, which I definitely don't think is going to happen. I think one of them could die at the end potentially, but this is just an example. Say they died in mid-season 5, all the loose ends you would have to tie up right away. I think it'd be very tasteless if you kill off a character like that and then, you know, you don't give a lot of attention to it, show a lot of emotions of the characters. If you just have them move on to keep fighting Vecna, I don't think that would be very realistic or very true to the show, which focuses on, like, the hearts of these characters. But with Murray, now, of course, they all love him, but I just don't think they'd be quite as distraught. If someone like Murray, who, once again, he's been great in helping them, he's definitely, become a friend of the group over the years in everything he's done. But I just think it would be the ideal situation for, okay, we can kill this character off. There can be some people around him that will probably be very sad in the moment. They'll, continue to remember him, maybe in the next episode, make some references to him. But you don't need to get, the reactions of all of his family, to tie up his character or to, have a funeral for him back home or something like that. Because, we don't know any of his family or anything about his life before he met this group. And he's not, one of the quintessential characters. So I think it would make sense for him to die in the middle to late of season 5, be kind of the first main character to die in season 5. And I think it would be similar to Bob with how they could kind of just, move on from his death and keep working toward the objective. Once again, they were sad about Bob. Mike talked a little bit about how he was the founder of the Hawkins AV Club. Joyce was sitting in her room, very distraught about it for a while, and Hopper came to comfort her. So they didn't just completely move on from it without mentioning it ever again, but they were able to kind of breeze past it, which I think they would be able to do similarly with Murray in season 5 because of his lack of connection to the group and his other connections outside of the group, none of his family's ever been shown or anything like that. Now, I say all this while maintaining the thought that I hope Murray lives. I do think he's a very wholesome character and one that has sacrificed a lot of the things he once believed in to be a part of this cause, and you can certainly respect him for that. But I think it makes too much sense for his character arc, and for some of the reasons I mentioned relating to Bob, I just think he is going to be one of the fallen soldiers in season 5. But let me know in the comments your reaction to this. Let me know if you love Murray and if you'd be really sad to see him go. But I honestly just really believe in this theory and think it's going to happen. If you enjoyed this video and want more Stranger Things content leading up to season 5, I'm going to be posting more theory videos, more production updates and things of that nature. So subscribe and like the video for more. Until next time, this is Ty the TV Guy, and I'll see you later.